Find that perfectly cozy spot in your bed. Take a nice, slow, deep breath in, and as you exhale, just let your body sink completely into the wonderful support of whatever you're lying on. We're about to travel back in time. Far back. We're heading to the Paleolithic period, 25,000 years ago. And trust me, by the time our journey is done tonight, you are going to be so deeply, profoundly grateful for that mattress beneath you. So, congratulations. You just woke up in a cave. The first thing that hits you is not a thought, not a sound, but a feeling. It is the cold. And it's not just chilly, it is a profound, bone-deep, teeth-chattering cold that makes your muscles clench. It's a damp, ancient cold that seems to radiate from the stone floor, up through your bedding, and into your very marrow. It's the kind of cold that feels like a physical presence in the air, making each breath you draw a sharp, crisp event in your lungs. You are lying on what feels, to your modern sensibilities, like the world's worst camping gear. It is a carefully arranged mat made from bunches of sedge grass and rushes. Someone in your family group, perhaps your own mate or your mother, has spent considerable time gathering these materials and weaving them into a sleeping surface. It's a testament to human ingenuity and care, an attempt to create comfort in a hard world. But the reality of it is that it's scratchy. Really scratchy. The stiff, dry stems of the grass poke through whatever animal skin you've pulled over yourself. And with every tiny shift of your body, as you try to find a more comfortable position, the entire mat crackles and rustles beneath you, a dry, whispering sound like nature's most uncomfortable cereal. Your nose, now fully awake, begins to process a complex symphony of smells, each one more intense than anything in your modern world. There is the familiar, comforting scent of wood smoke, yeah, but also something musty and earthy from the cave walls. It's the smell of ancient stone and damp earth, a scent that has filled this space for millennia. Layered on top of that is the leftover scent of cooked meat from last night's meal, a faint, savory ghost that now mixes with the much sharper smell of unwashed human bodies. This isn't an offensive smell, it's the smell of life, of your family, a familiar human musk. There is also this underlying funk of animal fat that's been used for waterproofing and warmth, on leather clothing and perhaps even on your skin, mingling with something green and plant-like from all the grass bedding that is arranged throughout the cave. It is an overwhelming, but not unpleasant, aroma of survival. You lie still and just listen. You can hear the cave breathing, if that makes sense. There are the little echoes of dripping water somewhere deeper in the darkness, a slow, rhythmic metronome marking the passage of time. There is the soft snoring of maybe 20 other people scattered around you on their own grass mats, a chorus of gentle, rumbling breaths that speaks of safety and community. Near you, someone's baby makes those tiny sleeping sounds babies make, soft sighs and little whimpers that are universally understood. And from beyond the cave entrance, you can catch the distant calls of birds starting their day and maybe the rustle of some animal moving through the brush. As you become more aware, you feel the state of your own body. Your body aches. I mean, really aches. Yesterday was a long day of walking and hunting and gathering, and you can feel it in every muscle. Your feet are tough as leather by now, but they're still sore from scrambling over rocks. And your back has that specific stiffness that comes from sleeping on the ground for well your entire life. Every joint protests as you contemplate the act of sitting up. So, the good news is, you're alive. The bad news, well, the bad news is pretty much everything else. Actually, let me back up and paint this picture properly for you. Because, you're not some primitive grunt shuffling around in animal skins. You are, in fact, incredibly, frighteningly skilled. You are a master of your environment. You know the names and uses of hundreds of plants. You can track animals by the tiniest signs, things a modern person would never even see, like a bent blade of grass, a scuff mark on a rock. You can make fire from scratch, map stone tools that are sharper than modern steel, and read the weather by watching how birds fly. You are a physicist, a biologist, an engineer, and an artist all rolled into one. But here's the thing, all that skill, you need every bit of it just to not die. Your life is lived on a razor's edge, and your vast knowledge is the only thing that separates your family from extinction. You shift on your grass bed, trying to find a position that doesn't involve something poking into your ribs. That's a little better. You pull the heavy animal skin more tightly around you. It's probably deer or elk, and it is actually pretty warm once you get settled. These hides have been carefully prepared, scraped, and worked until they're soft and flexible. Well, softish. Everything is relative when you're living in the Stone Age. As your eyes adjust to the dim light filtering in from the cave mouth, you start to make out the shapes around you. You see the sleeping forms of your world. This is your home. As your eyes adjust, the sleeping world of your family group slowly comes into focus. They are scattered across this main chamber, not randomly, but with a deep, instinctual logic. Your own small unit, your mate and children close by, forms a tight knot of warmth and shared breath. Further away, your parents and siblings and cousins are arranged in family clusters, each group a small island of humanity in the vast, stony darkness. In total, you can count 23 people, a number that feels both large and intimately small, a pretty typical size for a band like this. And at the absolute center of it all, the focal point of your entire existence, is the fire pit. The fire. Oh man, the fire. It is, without exaggeration, the most important thing in your entire world. It is warmth in the face of the bone-deep cold. It is a flickering shield against the great predators that roam the night. It is the magic that transforms raw meat into life-giving food. It is the social heart of your community, the beacon around which stories are told, tools are made, and life is shared. And right now, it's just a pile of glowing embers and ash. You can see that, someone, probably whoever had last watch, has kept it alive through the night, feeding it slowly with carefully selected pieces of wood. This is a sacred trust, a duty of the highest order. Starting a fire from nothing is genuinely hard work, even when you know what you're doing, so your people have learned over countless generations to never let it die completely. There is always someone responsible, a guardian of the glow. The embers pulse red and orange in the cave's darkness, throwing shifting shadows on the stone walls, a slow, rhythmic heartbeat in the center of your world. You can even smell the specific scent of the wood they've been burning. It's mostly oak and ash, with some birch mixed in. Your people know that different woods burn differently. Oak burns long and steady, perfect for maintaining heat through the long, cold night. Birch catches easily and gives off that sweet smell, a wonderful fragrance to wake up to. Pine is useful for getting a fire going quickly, but its resin makes it smoky for cooking. This deep, practical knowledge of the forest is as vital as any tool you possess. It is time to get up. With a quiet resolve, you push yourself upright on your grass mat and every joint protests. Your hip pops, your neck sicks, a morning chorus of stiffness that serves as a stark reminder of the hard ground and the lack of modern comforts. Around you, other people are starting to stir, too. Someone lets out a big jaw-cracking yawn that you feel in your own mouth. Someone else stretches with a groan that echoes slightly off the cave walls. Despite the individual aches and pains, a collective purpose begins to ripple through the group. The morning routine is always the same: fire first. Everything else depends on the fire. You carefully get to your feet, and the cave floor is cold against your bare soles. Even though the cave maintains a more constant temperature than the world outside, stone is still stone, and its chill seeps into your calloused feet. Walking toward the fire pit, you pass other members of your band. There's Carla, the best tracker in your group, already sitting up and inspecting her stone tools. And there, already tending to the embers, is Brun, who's probably the closest thing you have to a leader. He nods at you as you approach, his face serious with the task at hand. He has already selected some thin dry kindling, birch bark, and fine twigs that will catch easily from the embers. The fire pit itself is a masterpiece of Stone Age engineering, carefully constructed in a depression in the cave floor, lined with stones to contain the heat and reflect it back up. The ground around it is worn smooth from generations of your people sitting and working in this exact spot. You help him arrange the wood in a careful structure, building up from the smallest pieces to create the right airflow for the flames to take hold. It is a delicate, practiced art. Working together, you blow gently on the embers, coaxing them back to life. This is the most crucial moment. You purse your lips and exhale a long, steady stream of air, your face close to the warmth. The red glow brightens, and then, a flicker. Tiny flames begin to lick at the birch bark. The smell of smoke gets stronger, mixing with that distinctive scent of hot stone and ash. More flames catch, and then with a soft, satisfying whoosh, you have real fire again. Dancing, crackling, wonderful fire that pushes back the darkness and starts to warm your hands. A collective sigh of relief seems to move through the awakening group. Fire is life. Fire is protection. Fire is the difference between human and animal. As if drawn by an invisible string, more people gather around the growing flames. Children who were still sleepy moments ago become alert and focused. Fire means warmth, but it also means food. And as the comforting heat begins to spread through the cave, a single, unifying thought ripples through the band: everyone's stomach is reminding them that they haven't eaten since yesterday evening. The heart of the cave is beating strongly once more, and now, the day's first great question must be answered. As the fire grows stronger, someone begins to prepare a simple morning meal. A few pieces of yesterday's leftover meat from the successful deer hunt are spitted on sharpened sticks and held over the flames until it's heated through. This isn't really cooking, it's more like reheating leftovers, but warm food on a cold morning is a small miracle. The smell of heating meat mixes with the wood smoke, and your stomach makes that empty anticipatory rumble. You receive your small portion, along with a handful of nuts from yesterday's gathering. While you chew the tough but nourishing meat, the day's planning begins. This isn't like a modern business meeting with agendas and PowerPoint presentations. It is a casual conversation around the fire, but the stakes are life and death. The good news about being a hunter-gatherer is that you don't have to worry about a mortgage or taxes. The bad news is that every single day starts with the question, What are we going to eat and how are we going to get it? Yesterday was a decent day. But that was yesterday. Today, you're starting from scratch. Brun, the leader, speaks in a low voice, discussing the tracks that were spotted yesterday. A consensus quickly forms. The hunting party, maybe 6 or 7 people, will head east today, following the deer trail. Deer are creatures of habit, and the hunter's deep knowledge of the land allows them to predict where the deer might be found at certain times of the day, perhaps near a familiar water source or a patch of favored grazing land. But everyone here knows the reality of the hunt. Hunting big game with stone-tipped spears and wooden clubs is dangerous, difficult work, and most hunting expeditions come back empty-handed. While the hunters pursue their high-risk, high-reward strategy, the rest of the able-bodied adults will form the gathering party. You will be among them. Your mission is to spread out through the forest looking for anything edible. Nuts, berries, roots, tubers, mushrooms, bird eggs, insects, medicinal plants. Gathering is actually more reliable than hunting. You almost always find something. But its success hinges not on strength or speed, but on something far more vast and complex: knowledge. This is the point where you truly understand the genius of your people. It's the moment you realize that survival depends on the immense, invisible library carried within each person's mind. To be a gatherer, you need to know which berries are safe and which will kill you, which roots are edible and which will make you violently sick. You must know which mushrooms are food and which are poison, a distinction that can be as subtle as the color of its spores or the way its stem breaks. You need to know when and where to find bird eggs, and how to process bitter nuts to make them edible. You need to know where the best stones for toolmaking can be found. Your people carry this knowledge in their heads. Hundreds of pieces of information passed down through generations of trial and error and careful observation. You remember your own grandmother teaching you to avoid the bright, beautiful berries of the nightshade plant, telling you the story of a cousin from long ago who made a fatal mistake. You remember watching your father patiently leach the bitterness from acorns by soaking them in running stream water, a multi-day process that turned a poisonous nut into a source of life-sustaining flour. There are no books, no Google, no instruction manuals, just human memory and hard-won experience. This knowledge is a sacred inheritance, the collective wisdom of your ancestors whispering in your ear. It is the true treasure of your band. As you sit by the fire, you feel the weight and the comfort of this tradition. You are not just a person, you are a living vessel for this ancient library of survival. The conversation around the fire slowly dies down as the plans are finalized and understood by all. The morning's first great question has been answered. Now, the time for talk is over, and the time for action begins. As the cave starts to warm up, people begin the next phase of the morning routine, the daily ritual of checking and maintaining their tools. You finish the last of your tough, savory meat, your mind already shifting from the communal plan to your own personal contribution. You reach for your toolkit, ready to prepare for the day ahead. As the morning fire burns brighter and the cave starts to slowly warm up, a new kind of sound begins to fill the space. It is the sound of purpose. All around you, people begin the daily ritual of checking and maintaining their tools. This is a fundamental rhythm of your life, as essential as eating or sleeping. Stone tools dull with use and need constant attention. Wooden spears get damaged and require repair. Clothing made from animal skins needs mending. Your survival depends entirely on the quality and readiness of these few precious items. You turn your attention to your own personal kit, the few possessions that define your ability to contribute to the band. There is the stone knife you made yourself, its handle worn smooth from the grip of your hand. There is your wooden digging stick, its point fire-hardened and sharp. And there is the leather pouch that holds your fire-making materials and other small essentials. You pick up the stone knife. It feels cool and solid in your palm, a familiar weight. As you examine the blade, you see that the knife has a few small chips in the edge from yesterday's work. It's nothing serious, but it could be sharper. And in your world, a tool that could be sharper must be sharper. Knapping. Shaping stone tools is both an art and a science. It is a skill that takes a lifetime to perfect. You need to understand how different types of stone fracture, how to strike them at just the right angle with just the right force to remove flakes and create a sharp edge. You can read the stone, feel the hidden lines of tension within it, and see the finished tool waiting to be released. This is incredibly precise work that requires years of practice. You remember your own childhood attempts, the frustrating shatter of a promising piece of flint, and the patient, guiding hands of an elder showing you how to feel the stone's spirit. Now you settle into a comfortable position with your stone hammer and start the careful process of resharpening your knife. The world seems to shrink, your focus narrowing to the task at hand. Your mind becomes quiet, all thoughts of food or weather or danger receding. There is only the tool in your hand and the tool you are about to perfect. Each strike has to be placed exactly right. If you strike too hard, you'll break the tool. If you strike too soft, nothing happens. If you hit it at the wrong angle, you'll ruin hours of previous work. In this moment of intense focus, you are in a state of deep meditation. Then, the sound begins. A sharp, distinct click as you strike the first flake from the edge of your knife. And as you continue, your clicks join a chorus that is rising throughout the cave. The sound of stone on stone rings through the cave as other people work on their own tools. It is a comfortable, familiar sound, the soundtrack of Paleolithic life. Chip, chip, chip. It is the steady, rhythmic percussion of survival. A song of skill, preparation, and resilience echoing off the ancient stone walls. Under your skilled hands, your knife sharpens nicely. You work along the edge, removing tiny, paper-thin flakes of stone, creating a new, razor-sharp surface. When you are finished, the edge is now keener than most modern kitchen knives. It is sharp enough to slice through hide and meat and plant material with ease. You pick up a spare piece of tough leather and test it carefully. It cuts cleanly, with almost no pressure. Good. This tool might save your life today. You look up from your work, your task complete. Around you, the cave is coming fully alive. Children old enough to help are busy with simple tasks, feeding the fire, organizing the sleeping areas, checking water containers. They are learning by watching and doing, absorbing the skills they will need to survive through constant observation and gradual participation in adult activities. The sun climbs higher outside, sending more light through the entrance, and the pace of preparation picks up. Your tools are ready. Your mind is focused. You are ready to face the world. As the sun climbs higher outside, sending more light through the entrance, the pace of preparation picks up. People start moving toward the mouth of the cave, ready to begin another day. But before anyone goes anywhere, there's one more crucial morning task: assessing the weather and the world outside. Brun, along with two other experienced hunters, walks to the cave entrance to study the day. They are not just glancing, they are reading a language you have known since birth. They are looking at the sky, feeling the wind, listening to the sounds of birds and animals. Weather prediction without modern technology requires reading dozens of subtle environmental cues. They know that certain cloud formations tell stories about coming storms. They understand that the wind direction indicates where rain might be heading. They listen to the chatter of the birds, whose behavior can give clues about atmospheric pressure changes. The color of the dawn sky, the feel of the air, the smell carried on the breeze, all of this is data, processed by minds finely tuned to the natural world. Today, the world speaks of peace. The sky is clear, the wind is calm, and you can hear the normal chatter of birds in the forest. There are no signs of incoming bad weather, which means good hunting and gathering conditions. The world has given its permission. It is time to go. You gather your own tools and equipment. Your stone knife, wooden digging stick, leather carrying pouch, and a small, precious piece of fire-starting material wrapped in bark. Everything you own fits in your hands or hangs from a simple belt made of twisted plant fibers. You are wearing your usual outfit, and it is a masterpiece of function and form. It consists of leather leggings and a tunic made from carefully prepared deer hide, along with soft leather boots stuffed with grass for insulation, and a heavier skin cloak that can be wrapped around you if the weather turns cold. It is crucial to understand that these are not random animal skins thrown over your shoulders. They are carefully tailored garments sewn with sinew thread using bone needles. The leather has been treated with animal fat to make it water resistant, and the seams are reinforced in places that take the most stress. There are no zippers or buttons, everything fastens with leather ties or simple toggles made from bone or antler. Everything about your outfit is functional, designed for a life of movement, a testament to the quiet genius of your people. Fully dressed and equipped, you join the gathering party as it assembles near the cave entrance. You stand for a moment at the threshold, looking out at the forest that stretches endlessly in all directions. And as you do every single morning, you feel the familiar mix of anticipation and anxiety that starts every day. You take a deep breath of the morning air. It smells like forest, green and alive and complex. It is the scent of damp earth and decomposing leaves and growing plants and the musk of animals that passed this way recently. It is clean air, pure air, air that hasn't been touched by pollution or industry. The sun feels good on your face as you step out of the cave's shadow. This is real sunlight, not filtered through windows or reflected off buildings, but direct solar radiation that warms your skin and gives life to the world. And in this moment, you feel the profound duality of your existence. Out there is everything you need to survive: food, materials, resources, the great, generous provider. But out there is also everything that can kill you. Large predators, venomous snakes, poisonous plants, fast-moving rivers, cliff edges, sudden storms, and even rival groups of humans who might not be friendly. There are 1,000 ways to die, and there is only your knowledge and skills and the cooperation of your band to protect you. Your feet find the familiar path that leads down from your cave toward the forest floor. This path has been worn smooth by generations of your people making this same journey every day for hundreds of years. Your ancestors walked this exact route, and if you're lucky and skilled, your descendants will, too. You shift your carrying pouch to a more comfortable position and adjust your grip on your digging stick. Ahead of you, the gathering party moves through the forest with practiced silence, eyes and ears alert for anything useful. This is it. This is your life. This is what it really means to be human. And with each step, the adventure of another day in the Paleolithic world begins to unfold around you. The forest closes around you like a living thing. The air grows cooler, damper, and thick with the scent of life and decay. You are moving through what future generations will call an old-growth forest. But right now, it's just the world. Trees that have been growing for centuries stretch up into a canopy so thick that the morning light filters down in shifting beams and patches. There are oak and ash and beech trees, with massive trunks that would take 6 people holding hands to circle. The forest floor is a soft, deep carpet of decomposing leaves that squelch softly under your feet. The sounds are incredible, a rich tapestry of life. You hear dozens of different bird calls echoing through the trees, the constant rustle of small animals moving through the undergrowth, the distant crack of a branch falling somewhere in the depths of the forest, and the sound of wind moving through leaves in waves that you can actually hear approaching and passing overhead. As you walk, your gathering party spreads out, each person scanning their own patch of ground, their eyes trained by a lifetime of observation. But you always stay within earshot of the others. This is the first and most important rule of the world outside the cave: you never go anywhere alone, ever. Being alone in this world is basically a death sentence. Predators hunt alone humans. Accidents happen. A twisted ankle, a fall, getting lost means dying, and dying means your family doesn't eat. Your community is your strength, your extra set of eyes and ears, your only true shield against the dangers of this world. Suddenly, a soft call cuts through the ambient sounds of the forest. It's Kessa, who's probably the best plant identifier in your group. Her voice isn't loud, just a focused utterance that signals discovery. She's found something. You immediately angle toward her voice, pushing through a thicket of hazelnut bushes that catch at your leather clothing and scratch at your exposed skin. You find her kneeling beside a cluster of plants with broad heart-shaped leaves and small white flowers. "Wild garlic," she says, and the satisfaction in her voice is obvious. This is a good find, not just food, but medicine, too. Your people know that wild garlic can help with infections, and it adds flavor to otherwise bland meals. You help her carefully dig up several of the bulbs using your wooden digging sticks. These tools are simple but perfectly designed for their task: hardwood sticks about as long as your arm, sharpened to a point and hardened in fire. The bulbs come up easily in the soft forest soil. They are small, about the size of your thumb, with papery white skin and that unmistakable sharp smell of garlic. Kessa rubs one clean and bites into it, chewing thoughtfully. "Good," she says. "Strong. These will keep well." You wrap the bulbs in a piece of soft leather and tuck them into your carrying pouch. The empty pouch now has its first treasure. So far, so good. The day is off to a promising start. With a renewed sense of purpose, your group continues its journey, moving deeper into the living, breathing forest, alert and ready for the next gift it might offer. Your group continues deeper into the forest, energized by the successful garlic find. The rhythm of the day settles in. You move with a practiced silence, your eyes automatically scanning the forest floor, the tree trunks, the undersides of leaves. Every few hundred yards, someone finds something worth collecting. There are nuts from hazelnut bushes, berries that are just starting to ripen, wild mushrooms growing on rotting logs. But you only collect the ones that experienced gatherers know are safe. Your carrying pouch gradually grows heavier, each addition a small victory against the ever-present hunger. About an hour into the expedition, Toma calls out from near a stream bank. His voice has that particular excitement that means he's found something really good. You push through the undergrowth toward the sound, and when you arrive, what you see makes you smile. Wild honey. High up in an old oak tree, maybe 20 feet off the ground, there's a dark opening in the trunk where a colony of wild bees has made their home. You can see them coming and going, a busy, humming cloud of activity, and that sweet smell of honey is faint but unmistakable on the breeze. In your world, honey is like winning the lottery. It is concentrated energy, pure sugars that your body craves and burns efficiently. It keeps well without spoiling, possesses powerful, medicinal properties, and, above all, it tastes incredible, a rare and precious burst of pure sweetness in a diet that is mostly savory and earthy. But everyone here knows that getting it is dangerous work. Wild bees are not docile. They will defend their hive aggressively, and bee stings can be seriously dangerous if you get enough of them. People from other bands have died trying to collect honey, but the reward is worth the risk. A plan develops quickly, spoken in low, efficient tones. Toma is the best climber in your group, and he volunteers to go up. Your task, along with others, is to build a fire at the base of the tree and create smoke to calm the bees. You quickly gather dry wood and tinder, while others search for the right kind of green leaves to create heavy smoke. The fire needs to produce a lot of smoke without too much flame. Soon, thick white smoke is rolling up toward the bee tree. As the smoke reaches the hive entrance, the sound of buzzing gets quieter. You know that smoke triggers the bees' ancient instinct to gorge on honey in preparation for abandoning a burning hive, and, when they're focused on eating, they're less likely to attack. Toma begins his climb. He's incredibly skilled, moving up the rough bark with the confidence of someone who's been climbing trees since he could walk. His feet and hands find holds that you can barely see from the ground. He moves like a modern rock climber, but he learned these skills as a child because his life depends on them. He reaches the level of the hive and carefully begins working his hand into the opening. He is feeling for comb that can be removed without destroying the colony, for your people know not to take everything. His arm disappears into the trunk up to his elbow, his face a mask of concentration. Then, his expression changes to satisfaction. He's found it. Slowly, carefully, he extracts his arm from the tree. In his hand is a chunk of honeycomb about the size of your fist, golden and dripping with thick amber honey. He tosses the comb down to waiting hands below, then reaches back in for more. After 3 chunks, he judges it's time to stop. He scrambles down the tree and lands lightly on the forest floor, grinning, with only a few bee stings on his arms and shoulders, but nothing serious. The honeycomb is gorgeous. The wax cells are filled with honey so pure, it seems to glow in the dappled forest light. You can't resist breaking off a small piece and putting it in your mouth. The sweetness explodes across your tongue like nothing in the modern world. It's complex and floral and intensely sweet. Your body responds instantly with a rush of pure energy. For tens of thousands of years, this was the sweetest thing available to humans. And in this moment, you understand that it's perfect. The precious honeycomb gets carefully wrapped and packed away in leather containers. This treasure will be shared with the entire band. Your gathering party continues on, energized by the successful honey collection. Around midday, your group stops beside a small stream to rest and eat. The water is clear and cold, running over smooth stones worn by countless years of current. You kneel at its edge, cup it in your hands and drink deeply, tasting the mineral purity of water that has never been processed or treated or run through pipes. Lunch is a selection of what you've gathered so far. There are nuts, berries, a few strips of leftover meat from yesterday, and tiny, precious tastes of that incredible honey. You sit on a fallen log beside the stream, listening to the water and eating slowly, methodically. By modern standards, the food is challenging. The meat is tough, requiring serious chewing. The nuts are small and occasionally bitter. The berries are tart and full of seeds. Nothing is salted or seasoned. But your body knows this food, recognizes it, and processes it efficiently. There is a deep and profound satisfaction in eating food you gathered yourself, with your own hands, using knowledge passed down through generations. Every single bite was earned. As you eat, you take a moment to notice how your body feels. It feels strong, lean, efficient. Your muscles are dense and functional from a lifetime of constant physical activity. Your senses, relied upon every moment for survival, are incredibly sharp. Your mind is calm but always alert, constantly processing information from your environment. You realize this is what the human body was designed for. Not for sitting in chairs for 8 hours a day, not for eating processed foods, not for living under the glow of artificial light. It was designed for this, moving through natural landscapes, eating food you collected yourself, working with your community to solve the daily challenges of survival. After the meal, your group splits up to cover more territory. You are partnered with Denny, an older woman who knows more about medicinal plants than anyone else in your band. She's teaching you to identify herbs that can treat pain, infection, digestive problems, and other common ailments. The two of you work your way along the stream bank, where the rich, moist soil allows many useful plants to grow. This is your classroom. Denny shows you how to recognize willow bark, which can be chewed or made into a tea to relieve pain and fever. This knowledge is startlingly sophisticated. Your people have independently discovered the power of the same active ingredient found in modern aspirin. She points out wild mint growing in shady spots, explaining that it is good for settling stomach troubles. You find the thick, starchy roots of cattails growing in the marshy areas, a valuable source of food that can be roasted or ground into flour. The knowledge Denny shares represents thousands of years of human experimentation with natural medicine. Your people have no doctors or hospitals, but they have a detailed understanding of which plants can heal and which can harm. They know which mushrooms have antibiotic properties. They understand how to use certain plants to assist with difficult births. But Denny also teaches you the limitations. She reminds you that for serious injuries or infections, their medicine can only do so much. Life is fragile, and this knowledge, while powerful, is not a guarantee. The afternoon passes in this way. Walking, searching, learning, collecting. Your carrying pouch grows heavier as you add more plants and roots. The sun moves across the sky, and the light in the forest shifts from the bright vertical rays of midday to the warmer slanted rays of late afternoon. You are getting tired now, not exhausted, but pleasantly fatigued from a day of steady physical activity. Your hands are stained with plant juices and the dark, rich dirt of the forest soil. But you are also deeply satisfied. This has been a good day. The honey alone made the trip a great success, but you have also gathered enough food and, just as importantly, knowledge to contribute meaningfully to your band. As the sun starts to sink lower in the sky, Denny calls the group together. It is time to head back to the cave. As the sun starts to sink lower in the sky, Denny calls the group together for the return journey. It is time to head back to the cave, as you do not want to be caught in the forest after dark. Night belongs to the predators. The walk back follows a different route than your morning path. Your people never travel the same way twice if they can help it. Predictable routes make you vulnerable to ambush, and they also mean you miss opportunities to find new resources. This new path takes you through a section of forest dominated by massive beech trees, their smooth gray bark rising like ancient pillars into the canopy above. The ground here is covered with fallen beech nuts, and your group spends some time collecting the rich, oily nuts that will provide valuable calories. As you work, bent over and picking nuts from the forest floor, a subtle change occurs. You become aware of how quiet it's gotten. The normal, cheerful sounds of birds and the rustling of small animals have faded. The forest feels expectant, as if it is holding its breath. Denny notices, too. She straightens up slowly, her eyes scanning the trees around your group. Her hand moves casually, without any sudden movement, to the stone knife at her belt. It is the universal signal for, something's not right. Instantly, everyone freezes. You listen. Really listen, with an intensity that modern humans rarely access. Beyond the whisper of wind in the leaves, there's something else. A rustling that doesn't match the rhythm of small animals. Something bigger. Something moving with purpose through the undergrowth. Your mind races through the possibilities. It could be a deer, could be an elk, could be a bear, or it could be people who are not your people. Denny makes a subtle hand gesture that means, gather closer. Stay quiet. Be ready to run. Your group slowly, carefully, consolidates into a tighter formation, every muscle tensed for action. The rustling gets closer. Through the trees, you catch glimpses of movement. Brown shapes moving between the tree trunks, coming your way. Then you see them. Antlers. Elk. A small herd of them moving through the forest on their own afternoon journey. They are huge animals, each one weighing more than 3 or 4 humans combined. They are magnificent, with thick coats gleaming in the afternoon light and massive antlers that could easily kill a human. Muscles ripple under their skin as they walk. The tension of fear melts away, replaced by a profound sense of awe. Your group stays perfectly still as the elk pass, some only a short distance away. And then, it happens. One of the adults, a large bull, stops about 30 feet from your group and looks directly at you. You lock eyes with a wild elk. For a long, silent moment, you and this ancient creature regard each other across the space between species. Two different kinds of animals, sharing the same forest, the same world, in a moment of pure, unspoken communication. Then, the elk decides you are not a threat and continues on its way. The entire herd disappears into the forest as quietly as they appeared, leaving only the faint scent of musk and the memory of that brief, intense connection. The group exhales as one. Denny grins and makes the hand sign for good luck. Seeing elk is always a positive omen, a blessing from the forest spirits. Energized by the encounter, you finish collecting the beech nuts and continue the journey home. The sun is definitely getting lower now, and the light is taking on that golden quality of late afternoon. It is time to pick up the pace and return to the safety of the cave. The path climbs gradually as you approach your home territory. The cave is situated on higher ground for good reason. It offers better visibility, is easier to defend, and is less likely to flood during heavy rains. Your legs feel the incline as you climb, but it's a familiar burn. You've made this walk thousands of times, and your body knows the rhythm of the final push toward home. As you crest the final hill, a familiar and welcome scent drifts to you on the breeze. It is the smell of wood smoke. This single scent carries a powerful message: home, safety, community. The hunters must be back already, and someone has built up the fire. Then, another, even more exciting aroma layers on top of the first. You can also smell cooking meat. Really smell it. Rich, savory scents that make your mouth water and your stomach rumble with anticipation. A wave of relief and joy washes over you. The hunters were successful today. Tonight, there will be fresh meat for everyone. Tonight will be a feast. The cave entrance comes into view, a dark mouth in the side of the limestone cliff, now glowing warmly from the fire within. You can see people moving around the fire pit, the comfortable bustle of a successful community. Children are playing in the safe area near the cave mouth, their laughter echoing softly. As you approach, some of the children run out to greet the returning gathering party. They are eager to see what you found, hoping for treats like berries or nuts they can eat right away. You ruffle the hair of Mira, a 7-year-old girl who's particularly interested in plants, and show her a few of the ripe berries you saved. Her excitement is infectious. Stepping from the vast, wild forest into the cave feels like crossing a magical threshold. Outside is unpredictable nature, inside is controlled, human space, the place where your band comes together. You settle onto your favorite spot near the fire pit and begin unpacking your day's collection. The wild garlic, the nuts, the roots, and of course, the precious honeycomb. Each plant and nut and root represents knowledge applied, skills used, successful interaction with the natural world. They are small victories that add up to survival. As you work, you listen. Brun and the other hunters are sharing their story. The tale unfolds, in the casual, collaborative way of people who know each other intimately. One person begins, another adds details, a third emphasizes a skillful moment. They tell of how they tracked the deer for most of the morning, following barely visible signs through dense forest. It was a story of patience and deep environmental knowledge. The kill itself happened quickly at a water source. Jorik made a perfect spear throw, and a second deer ran into spears held by other hunters along the escape route. They were clean kills, quick deaths, minimal suffering for the animals, and maximum protein for your people. The feast begins. While some chunks of meat are roasted directly over the flames, the true artistry of your people is on display elsewhere. Rana, one of the most skilled cooks, has created a Stone Age oven using heated rocks and a pit lined with leaves. Large stones were placed in the fire hours ago, and are now glowing red hot. She uses wooden tongs to transfer them into a pit lined with large, clean leaves. Chunks of deer meat, wrapped in yet more leaves, are placed on top, then the whole thing is covered with dirt to create a sealed cooking chamber. The meat will cook slowly and evenly in the steam, becoming incredibly tender. It is an ingenious method, born from thousands of years of observation and intelligence. You receive your portion of the roasted venison, flavored with the wild garlic you helped gather. The meat is rich and satisfying in a way that modern farm-raised meat rarely matches. Later, when the stone oven is opened, steam billows out, carrying an aroma that makes everyone lean forward. The meat that emerges is so tender it is falling apart at the touch of a wooden implement. You savor this second course, appreciating the different textures and flavors. Your body, weary from the day's work, welcomes the rich food, especially the fat, which is concentrated energy that your body craves and needs. As you eat, a deep sense of peace settles over the cave. The day's work is done. Food has been found, prepared, and shared. Everyone is safe inside the cave with a warm fire and full bellies. These moments of security and comfort are rare enough to be treasured, a perfect end to a long and successful day. As the meal progresses and bellies are full, the atmosphere in the cave shifts once again. The urgent, primal energy of the feast gives way to something increasingly relaxed and social. This is the time when survival becomes culture, when basic existence becomes something deeper and more meaningful. The fire, having cooked your meal, now serves a new purpose. It illuminates the work of creation. There is no leisure time in the modern sense, but there is also no distinction between work and life. Everything flows together into the integrated whole of Paleolithic existence. Near the fire, Jorik pulls out a piece of antler he's been working on, along with a sharp stone burin designed for carving. By the flickering light, he continues the careful process of creating what will eventually become a spear thrower, a tool that will dramatically increase the range and power of your hunter's spears. The carving work is incredibly precise. It is a task of intense, focused concentration. This seemingly simple tool, a carved piece of antler with a hook at one end, represents a profound understanding of physics, a technological leap that literally changed the course of human evolution by allowing hunters to bring down larger prey from safer distances. Nearby, Kesser is engaged in a different kind of technology, plant processing. She is grinding wild grass seeds between two stones, transforming them into a coarse flour that can be mixed with water to make a simple bread or porridge. The rhythmic, scraping sound of stone on stone is one of the oldest industrial noises in human history, a sound that laid the foundation for all agriculture to come. Her work is laborious, but it unlocks vital nutrition from plants that would otherwise be indigestible. Meanwhile, Brun is teaching the children how to make cordage, a strong rope twisted from plant fibers that has dozens of essential uses. He shows them how to beat the plant material to separate the fibers, then roll them against their legs with consistent tension. It is a fundamental skill that looks simple but requires considerable practice to master. The children's clumsy first attempts are met with patient guidance, ensuring this basic, crucial technology is passed to the next generation. As this quiet industry hums along, old Senna, the eldest woman in your group, begins telling a story. It is a tale everyone has heard before, about a great winter when she was young and the band survived on cached supplies. The story is not just entertainment, it is education. It is a lesson in resource management, in preparing for hard times, in the importance of foresight, all disguised as entertainment. You lean back and let the familiar rhythm of her voice wash over you, understanding that these oral traditions are how your people preserve and transmit knowledge across generations. The firelight flickers and dances, creating constantly shifting patterns of brightness and shadow on the cave walls. In these shifting patterns, you catch glimpses of the cave paintings that your people created over many generations. The images of animals and handprints seem almost alive in the wavering light. These paintings are not just decoration. They serve vital functions. Some depict hunting scenes that teach tactics to the young. Others seem connected to deep spiritual beliefs about the relationship between humans and the animal world. Creating them required immense skill, from grinding natural pigments to mixing them with animal fat and applying them with brushes made of animal hair. Most remarkably, many paintings are located in areas of the cave with special acoustic properties, places where chants and music would resonate in profound ways, creating immersive experiences that connected your band to their cultural traditions and spiritual beliefs. The cave itself is an instrument, and the paintings are its notes. As the evening deepens, these activities begin to wind down. Tools are cleaned and put away. The fire is carefully banked for the night, the flames dying down to a manageable, steady glow. The atmosphere becomes increasingly peaceful and contemplative, and people begin moving toward their sleeping areas, the day's work truly done. You settle onto your mat and pull your sleeping furs around you. The animal skins are warm and soft from years of use, and they carry the comforting sense of your family and your life. The sounds in the cave gradually diminish as people settle into sleep. Conversations have faded to whispers, then to silence. Now, the only sounds are the gentle crackling of the fire, the occasional soft shift of someone adjusting their position, and the deep, slow breathing of people relaxing into rest. Outside the cave, the night world is alive with its own sounds, the call of an owl, the distant howl of wolves, but inside this protected space, they seem distant and unthreatening. You feel your body beginning to relax as it recognizes the familiar transition towards sleep. Your muscles, which have been working hard all day, start to release their tension. And as you lie there, listening to the gentle breathing of your people and feeling the warm weight of the furs against your skin, something remarkable begins to happen. The boundaries between then and now, between their world and your world, start to blur. The 25,000 years that separate the Paleolithic world from your modern life seem to compress into nothing more than a long, slow exhale. Because here's the truth that most people never really understand: you are them. Your DNA, your basic brain structure, your fundamental physical and emotional needs, they're virtually identical to those of the cave dwellers whose lives we've been exploring. The human genome hasn't changed significantly in 40,000 years. You are running Stone Age software in a Space Age world. Those Paleolithic humans weren't primitive ancestors, they were people just like you, with the same capacity for love, creativity, and complex thought. They mourned their dead, told stories around fires, and worried about their children. The main difference between you and them isn't intelligence or emotion, it's technology and the accumulated knowledge of thousands of generations. They lived in a world without the securities you know, facing hunger, cold, disease, and injury in ways that seem impossible to us now. But they also didn't face the psychological stresses that plague modern humans. They had no anxiety about careers or finances or social media. They suffered no depression from feeling disconnected from nature and community. Their problems were immediate and physical, but they were also solvable through direct action and community cooperation. Their purpose was clear: survival was the purpose. Community was the meaning. The irony is that your Paleolithic ancestors might have been, in many ways, happier than many modern humans. They never wondered why they were alive or what the point of it all was. The point was to live another day, to help your people survive, to pass knowledge to the next generation. As these thoughts flow through your mind, you feel your eyelids growing heavy. The grass mat beneath you feels softer now, more comfortable. The fire in the cave dims to its lowest point, just barely glowing coals that pulse like a slow, steady heartbeat. When modern life feels overwhelming, remember those cave dwellers who faced real dangers with courage and intelligence. When you feel disconnected, remember the deep bonds that held their communities together. When you feel purposeless, remember that your ancestors found meaning in the simple act of survival and the love they felt for their people. You carry within you the accumulated wisdom of millions of years of human evolution. You are tougher than you think, smarter than you know, more connected to the natural world than modern life allows you to remember. Your breathing becomes so slow and deep that each breath seems to last forever. The warmth of the fire, the softness of the furs, the security of the cave, the presence of your sleeping community, all of it blends together into a perfect feeling of peace and belonging. As your consciousness gently releases its hold on the waking world, you carry with you the knowledge that you are part of something ancient, enduring, and beautiful. You are human. You are connected. You are home. Sleep now. Rest in the knowledge that you are exactly who you were meant to be, carrying forward the best of human nature into whatever future awaits. Let your eyelids fall closed for the final time tonight. Let your breathing slow to match the ancient rhythms of rest. Sleep deeply. Sleep peacefully. Sleep with the confidence that you are part of the greatest story ever told. Rest now, modern cave dweller. Rest well.